Friends, it's my pleasure to introduce to you one of the great contemporary musicians on the scene today. He's a three-time international Grammy-nominated pianist and composer who sprouted from a prestigious family of legendary Cuban musicians and performers. His mom is the OG legendary voice of Cuba, Xiomarra Laugart. His dad is Cuban folk singer-guitarist Alberto Tosca. Since emigrating to the U.S. from Cuba in 2005, he has been an emerging talent on the vanguard of the Cuban jazz music genre. He's also been and is currently the band leader and host of the Cuban Jam every Thursday night at Zinc Bar for 10 straight years, where he often performs with his mom. How do I know? Alex from Zinc Bar told me. Give it up for the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Axel Tosca.
Thank you.
Yeah, baby.
Thank you.
Thank you. Axel, welcome. Oh, my God.
Pleasure, man. My pleasure being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my God. On November 30th, I came to Zinc Bar knowing I would see a great band. I just saw you perform 2 weeks earlier with Salcedo Latin Soul at the bitter end as a stand-in keyboardist.
Respect. Thank you.
Okay. I just had Steve on my show.
Excellent.
Recently.
Excellent.
Great. It was great. Okay. No doubt the band was great. You played outstanding. But the reality was, as far as a solo act, I had no clue what I was in for. So we walk in the club that night. Almost immediately, we see each other. You give me a big smile. You introduced us to your lovely family, which was an honor.
Oh, my God. Same for me, man. Thank you.
But brother, I didn't realize all the smiles and that warmth. You were setting me up, bro. I had no freaking idea I was walking into a hurricane.
Was intentional. That's totally intentional.
I know, you're tricky. You are tricky, man. Shortly thereafter, as you're ready to start your set, Alex from Zinc Bar takes us to the front table next to the stage, sits my ass down. Before even settling in, I swear to God, straight out of the gate, brother, I sensed something special.
Gracias.
Let me tell you, it's hard to explain. For 26 minutes during your first two original compositions, you led me on an eloquent musical journey.
Thank you.
While hearing and feeling those beautiful melodies and rhythms, I swear to God, I became so overwhelmed with emotion. I told you this. I told your bass player this. I could not put the camera down for one moment. It was so powerful.
Thank you. Thanks. Wow.
The first tune was dynamically rhythmic. It walked, it swung, it had a great piano solo. The second tune was absolutely mesmerizing. It was so profoundly good. Your upright bass player, bro, Junior Terry.
Junior Terry, man.
And your drummer, David Frazier Jr., top-notch players, seasoned top-notch players.
Definitely, you know, my love for them. My love.
Now, I've seen many greats, so I don't say this lightly, but I told you after the gig, and I stand by it. What I witnessed from you, Axel, was an Oscar Peterson-like performance that night.
Oh, bro. Sorry, man.
There were moments.
Bro.
There were moments during your solos
Thank you.
that blew my mind.
Thank you.
Reminiscent of Peterson's blues etude from his 1974 performance.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Watch this clip, folks. Watch this clip. Man, oh my God. To this day, Axel, the Axel Tosca Trio is one of the best I've ever heard. What an amazing performance, brother. Amazing. Thank you.
Beautiful, kind,
Thank
super
you.
beautiful, beautiful
I
work.
had no expectations. I knew it would be great, but again, it blew my mind. So let me ask you, from what I've read, you started playing guitar at age 4,
Yeah.
and then you switched to piano at age 7. What ultimately drew you to the piano instead of the guitar?
So
Hmm.
my mother and my father they started in a duet
Mm-hmm.
in the movement of La Nueva Trova. In this case, it's folk music, very inspired by the Beatles. I totally fall in love with the guitar because everyone around me was with the guitar playing. My mom used to take me to a lot of house kind of like a get around. A lot of poets, writers, and composers used to like share all the music,
Yeah,
and that was beautiful. And
beautiful.
my father used to pick me out on Sundays to spend time with me. And at 5 p.m., exactly at 5 p.m. after his siesta, his nap, he picked out the guitar and started to compose. So I totally I fall in love with the guitar. But then mom created this amazing band. They put, this band behind her. The great Pablo Milanés, rest in peace, amazing songwriter. The one that I really give them took my mom under his wing, and I went to the apartment of the great Omar Sosa. Omar Sosa, great keyboard player and piano player. He used to be the musical director. He used to conduct the band of my mother. And all this keyboard, I remember, was chord and one. I got it vivid out here. They arrived new. I smelled the keyboards. We took those keyboards to his apartment, and he went to this room and he learned the keyboard in such an amazing way that the first time that I heard the band, I said to myself, I want to be a piano player.
Wow. And
Yeah.
plus, they needed a piano player more than
Yeah.
a guitar player.
My mom always, when I was 13 or less, 11, around that, she always trying to, you're supposed to play in my band. And I understood the sacrifice that take um, profession like, learn classical music or music in general, the art form, take a lot from your childhood. So at one point, I would say to my mom, I want to enjoy a little bit my childhood. I know I'm in college, I know I'm in school, but I have this free time at night at least to be myself. If you put me in the band right now, it's gonna be tedious. Now I love it.
Yeah, that brings up my next question. I was wondering, as a kid growing up,
Mm.
watching your mom and dad had to have a great impact on you.
Yes.
Did that make you want to become a professional musician, watching your mom and dad perform?
I totally say yes. I was drive since the belly because she was singing with me and winning awards. And I remember everybody was telling me, your mom used to sing with you pregnant in the belly. So yeah, I always was drive. Yeah, scientifically speaking, I think that it's totally, meant to be. Meant to be.
It, it
I
it
love
it
it.
was literally your destiny
Yeah, it was
because
totally my destiny. Yeah.
yeah, and not only that, but I was reading that you had intimate musicians coming over, your mom's friends,
Mm.
songwriters, all different types of musicians coming to your living room and just
Definitely,
playing
definitely. That was such an
all
amazing
through your
thing.
childhood.
Uh,
That had to have a great impact on
my
you.
babysitters were singers, musicians. I used to stay in like all, what I respect for that community was the love, the love that I always received, the love, and unconditional support. If you're gonna do this, we're gonna support you, and I respect that a lot.
That's wonderful. Did you start out as a classical musician and then move to jazz?
So the way the school system in our country is kind of like based in the old Soviet Union or now Russia, So kind
Hmm.
of like the music school is very European teaching. So we don't learn any Cuban rhythm or nothing for the diaspora. Like I read one
Sure.
of our questions, and I can really respect uh, the discipline, the classical, influence in the musicians of Cuba. It's very nice because we really learn the our instrument, how to touch, how to really get deep, how. So I respect my formation, and then the rest was on my way from the school to my house to school. You were working, and the radio is on. People are playing rumba. Everybody having some party ceremony for our, ancestors. It's a kind of like beautiful and rhythmically city, but classical really helped me. And the fact that my teachers, I really gonna give the props to the teachers, the educators, the way that they figured it out how to inspire older generations. And knowing that probably you're gonna end playing classical, but maybe no, maybe, because music have such many genres. The teacher is such a how I can say, well, like a scout. You see the future of your students. So I appreciate and I give all the props to my teachers.
So you were exposed at a very young age to
Mm.
many different idioms of music.
Yes. Yeah.
Although I could relate to this because you know that I am also the producer for Talking Taiwan podcast.
Oh,
Okay. So there are close parallels between Cuba and Taiwan because there
mm,
was a tremendous period of censorship in
okay.
Taiwan for many years. It was under white terror, and you were told that what you had to learn, and certain things were censored from you. Like, for instance, you mentioned it was like very Russian in the
Yeah,
fact that,
totally.
okay, that they didn't want to expose Cuban music to you. They wanted to expose what they wanted to channel, the type of music.
Like I say, that was the school system. So
Yeah.
if you decide to become a musician, you know that those were the patterns to follow. So even though in our program at the end they always give you a free tune. So in your repertoire you can play songs of our composer. That's when the factor of your teacher come in place. The teacher have the curiosity to put in you pieces of music that they know that it's gonna reflect in the way that you express yourself. So at the end of my repertoire, there was, for example, Bach. You open with Bach, then you do Czerny or Moszkowski, then you do some Mozart or Beethoven, then you do some Bela Bartok or Debussy, and you finish with a Cuban composer.
Beautiful.
So that was kind of like the concert that you need to put each year. So
And
like,
fortunately, you had a very good teacher, as you mentioned.
oh yes, I have
Yeah,
beautiful.
right?
It's a group. It's a group of beautiful teachers.
Beautiful teachers.
Vivian, Maria Leonora, Miriam Valdez, Rosa Maria Tolón, Yvette Frontela. Yes, those five. Oh my God,
Yeah.
those five.
Yeah, you had great
Beautiful.
teachers I was
Yes,
reading as well.
yes.
And so would you say this is like around grade school? Sixth, seventh, eighth
Um,
grade?
yeah, I start fifth grade. We
Fifth
start music
grade.
in fifth grade. Fifth grade, actually. Um,
Fifth
seven,
grade is, yeah, fifth grade is like,
7 years old?
no, a little older. I'd say about 8 or 9 years old, fifth grade.
No, earlier, because I was seven.
Earlier?
See, seven, third grade, kind of like that.
Third grade, yeah.
When they start to really teaching you. So
Yeah.
one of the friend of my mother say to her, she's a dancer. She live in Canada. Sarita Leiva is my auntie. Hello, auntie. She said to my mom, "You should bring it to the school. I think that your son got vocation for for music." So, and that's when I started, man. You know, I
Beautiful.
knew it was difficult. I was about to drop, but I'm glad. My grandfathers really did a good job, so I appreciate it.
Did you pick up music very quickly when you were very young?
Honest, my first competition I did awful, and that's when I felt very that feeling of I think that I'm not good enough. Really. I went
Interesting.
to being so young, I went to that depression fast. And I remember my grandfather, Jesus Laugart, he walked with me because he picked me up from school to go to this competition. And he said to me, I'm so proud of you that you're feeling like that. No, at all. This is good. This is the beginning. This is your first ever concert, and you know it's room to failure, you're going to grow. So I remember my first 100 point, my first prize. I i i was feeling totally invincible. I was feeling so, because I knew how I started. So get there to the, oh my God, I was feeling so happy, so happy.
That's so wonderful. You had nurturing relatives and parents
Yeah.
who
Yes.
who encouraged you
Yes,
to do
for sure.
better and
Definitely.
to not get discouraged in
So
your development.
in my generation, I have a very good group of friends that I knew for the fact that they received that at home. I have a son myself, me and my wife. My wife is his stepmother, but is our son. And that's the values that we want to, give to our son. We want to encourage him in order for him to be curious.
Love it.
So yeah.
Terrific. Did you learn to read music at an early age?
Yeah, man. I learned solfeo. I don't know how they call it in English. I forgot. But I learned theory music. Was it kind of like, now thinking in retrospective, I don't even remember how I learned it, but we learned it. I learned it. My difficult, the transition of classical or finish, the classical part and going and play popular music, that when I started to have some trouble, because it was a new signature for me, a new way of reading, G7 flat 9 was totally, I know it's a mirror, but it was another language. So I remember to take class with Miguelito Pan con Salsa. He's a amazing keyboard player. He live in Canada. He was my teacher. He teach me all the theory for the music, how to play pop, how to play timba, how to play, different styles. So I appreciate that. I always
Yeah.
look for, I respect and I know the importance of a teacher, of a mentor. It's nice because, you can learn.
Wow. That's such a very intelligent point to bring up
Thank you.
that people take for granted is that they don't realize how valuable their teachers are.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you
For the teacher.
and you appreciate that
Thank you.
even years later. I would say that it worked to your advantage that you studied classical first and you
Thank you.
learned to read. And then later on, you started delving into more improvisational
Yes.
genres
Yes.
like
Yes.
jazz. I think that worked to your advantage than if you started the other way around, where you started with improvisational music and then tried to read.
Mm,
I think it helped you that you learned to read at an early age
yeah.
with classical.
Definitely.
It's
Definitely.
fantastic.
Thank you.
And it brings me to a point, like, let's fast forward to your adult years. When you're on a session, how much of the success of that session is dependent on reading as opposed to memorizing your parts and improvising? Are you using a large percentage of your energy reading at the session?
Um, when it's sight reading, I think the everything that come to your mind is more like all the recollection of your information. Because remember that that instant you just need to bring what the writer wants through the paper. Huh? So for me, it's more like, oh, I already know this code because music is code. Every single writer can complicate the code, not shit it, but complicate and put a little more sauce or a little more information. But
Mm-hmm.
it's codes, music rhythms, is patterns. So I do appreciate that every day I expose myself to different genre of music and different codes, different ideas, producers. So that helped me to go to session quickly and emote, my interpretation. And so quickly I lag with the other musicians. Probably they have more experience than me, but they can feel that connection.
Yeah.
So um, definitely the studying, the repetition, of our patterns, our codes, helped me a lot on those sessions that you don't know the music. But when I play with other artists, that they send me the music in advance because they know that the music is so complicated that we cannot go to a studio So,
Sure.
and in that case, I really, really try to memorize the music. So whenever you go to a studio, you emulate Miles Davis or John
Right.
Coltrane or.
Yeah. That's a nice luxury to have where you get the music beforehand, where
Oh,
you can
totally.
prepare it. But
Totally.
sometimes you don't have that luxury.
Oh, totally. No. And that's when, like my mother-in-law said, that's when you are a prime time player. No disrespect, but for the reason we call it the industry of music. So when they
Yeah.
call you for those kind of like big budgets, we don't have time, but we want quality and best. See
That,
myself in those situations. That's when again I go into my childhood, and I appreciate to all those persons because they
yeah.
prepare me for me to be, ready
Yeah.
this times.
You're a top call when you can come in and put the fire out. When someone couldn't do the job, you could come in with very little to zero preparation
Yeah.
and you can get the job done.
Sometimes because I have a bunch of colleagues. And when I see my colleagues, they're all the time at the studio with different, sometimes I wish to be in those situations, but now I realize I've been 13 years with Little Louis Vega writing music, going to studios all over the world. So I say to myself, dang, I don't need to be a studio by studio because right now I'm in a team writer, you know,
And you have a
company.
good collaboration.
Exactly. So I really love the entire music industry because, like you say, I started learning from the
Yeah.
music, and then I went to the world, and now I can learn about business. But the fact that I know the music, I respect the art form. Give me all this. I'm
And not,
humble. I feel humble.
you are. I sense a humility about you that is very endearing,
Mhm. Thank you.
and I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Um, I was watching some videos of Jay Graydon
Mhm.
in the studio, and he was saying, "Yeah, I could read the charts, but most of the time, you're getting paid to play the chords,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? And
Mm.
then from my experience, I can pick the melody out and, I can get the job done. I could improvise a solo. Most of the time, it's that to like reading chord charts rather than like reading the actual musical stems."
For me, when I do a session, whenever they call me for a session, I record the bass. Everything's MIDI, but it's so real that they left everything. They leave everything. I record bass, keyboard, organ, Rhodes, clap, strings, uh, maybe sounds, escape, and then a solo.
What about the drums? Do you record that
No, no, no.
last?
Whenever I go with them, they got already the entire, because SD, they have the drums laid down for
I
me with the
got you.
bass and everything. So I just need to put everything on. And they released the song like that because they say this is an amazing vibe for what, for real.
That's
And
that's that's interesting. You start with the bass because
for me, it's random because if they have the vocals and the rough drums, I start with the chords. But if they say let's start with the vibe,
mhm.
whatever sound you got in the piano at that time, I just play and we start with that. I
Beautiful.
don't pick. Oh, let me start. But yeah, if I have vocals, I really gonna go to my main. That is the piano.
Yeah, interesting. Jay Graydon was saying that what he does is that he lays down like a synth drum part
Mm,
just as a skeleton,
mm,
and then he puts a bass like a almost like a like a scratch bass over it,
I-
and
mm,
then he records the real drums to over the synth
I-
skeleton,
mm.
and then he says that's a good way to do it. But I think it's just preference,
Yeah,
people do it different ways.
everyone got their own method, so that's beautiful.
Yeah. Now, on your website, it reads his virtuosic performances and innovative compositions blend elements of jazz, classical music, hip hop, and Afro-Cuban rhythms. I'm just curious, how did you learn to fuse so many diverse musical styles into your playing?
My mother and my father. My father was a fan of Jimi Hendrix,
Me
and
too.
oh yeah, so and an eternal rock and roller in Ireland that was kind of like impossible to have a black rock and roller. And my mom always was surrounded with her beautiful voice, surrounded of beautiful composers, catering beautiful, pieces of music. And she used to have a bunch of cassettes, so I hear so many styles of arrangement too. Brazilian music influenced a lot the folk, the Cuban folk. The Brazilian music influenced a lot. And actually, we used to have a festival in Havana. The Milton Nascimento, Gal Costa, the Javan. They used to go to Havana all the time and exchange harmonies and ideas. And then when the Cuban music went to that embargo era in 1991, we started to develop a sound mixing son montuno with funk, and they
Nice.
create some hybrid, beautiful, beautiful genre of music called timba. That is
Yes. I
so
I asked Steve Salcedo
yeah.
if he could differentiate timba from bamba from salsa.
Hey,
And
again,
he explained to me that, and you tell me if this is correct. From a layman standpoint, timba
mm,
is like Cuban pop music. Would you say it's Cuban pop
Cuban
music?
pop music. Well, in my era, was pop music for us because it was the most selling genre of music out there that was popular. It's almost like the reggaeton in Puerto Rico.
Hmm.
Timba was like a ours, so we understand how to dance it. Like people used to go to Cuba to dance it. So around the world,
Mm,
whenever you play those bands in Europe, was a new sound for them. It's kind of like a funk when
mm,
James Brown started playing it. So
yeah.
thanks to that movement, I get very influenced about and intrigue about American pop culture.
Nice.
Then hip hop arrived to Cuba
Mm.
1998, 1999.
In
And
Cuba, hip
in
hop,
Cuba, yeah,
88.
hip hop, 90,
Interesting.
90, 98. In 98, I was like 15 years old. So there, I get totally into hip hop, like a hip hop head. Hip hop. I have my
Yeah.
my emo tattoo. I used to listen Sepultura and I went to a rock and roll era, like but the hip hop really make an impact with me, and
Mm.
then the rest was history. I started to mix everything, mix.
You're such an amazing rhythm player.
Oh, thank you.
I attribute that to all, I think I attribute that to just being around Cuban musicians, being around Brazilian music, because you have to be
Exactly.
very
Take
rhythmic
up a rhythm, take up
with
a rhythm.
sambas,
Definitely.
uh, and just that exposure left an indelible impression
Yeah,
on your musicality.
appreciate that.
Yeah. And when I see you play rhythm, it's amazing how you turn the rhythm around in your solos, how you go through different meters and different syncopations.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, this is what I noticed in those two compositions, especially the second
Beautiful review.
composition. You had so many syncopations in your solos. I mean, you were going two against three, three against four, then you were walking, then you were swinging. It was mwah,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
fantastico.
Beautiful review, man. Beautiful review, man. Thanks.
Because I was a band leader for 22 years. So I appreciate all of these things, even though I'm not doing it currently, but I appreciate it so much.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate
It, it,
your comment, man.
it
Beautiful.
makes me wonder, how did you develop your amazing improvisational skills? Because you started out as a classical musician, which is unimprovisational
Yeah.
and which is rigid. And then it's like you flipped a switch. You went totally opposite into the improvisational realm of jazz. Was that a difficult transition for you? Did it take years?
So in injustice, making justice to classical music, again, I say it again, it's about the teachers. When the teacher teach you this the teacher teach you this music in a way that he explained it to you. Because I remember my teacher always making me, imagine when you play this phrase, that you are the wave, like almost like poetry. She already was putting poetry in something that you already say that was is rigid, So whenever I play a phrase or a motif, it's some kind of like everything is a way. So the the sensibility of um
No, I understand.
of how they put on me a love of interpretation. When I started listening jazz, of course, for me was totally notes, a bunch of notes, and say, oh my God, I'm so intrigued because I'm already love Bach. And Bach is so I'm already
Yeah.
like a one that word, those patterns are in my mind. So um the the develop of improvisation, I don't again, it's kind of like a loss in my mind because is a passion that people that play jazz in Cuba seeing on you, so they already get you in the band. So I can say that I'm learned with Alexander Brown, kind of like he molded me. Alexander Brown is
Mm,
cousin of Junior Terry.
wow. Your
So
bass player, Junior Terry.
exactly. His cousin, he used to live in the at the corner of my house. So he heard me he heard me playing some piano, some like trying to do some jazz. And they
Hmm.
brought it to my house and he said to me, you want to play in my jazz band? I said, oh my God, I want to learn. And from there I start to kind of like God, but always was by ear and listen record. I never transcribe, but I learned the solos, but by singing to you. So kind of
Love
like
it.
unconsciously, I always put pieces of solos that I love in my improvisation. But I swear to God, without sit down and write it, oh, let me write this solo to perfection. My phrases. I do recall sitting down and emulate what I listen to it, and from there, um, shaping my voice, and that helped me a lot to build my own voice. when I emigrated to the States, I went to college, and that's when I started to understand the language. I go, oh, okay, makes sense. Boom, and click.
And that is so missing today with younger musicians. They don't develop their ear because they're too dependent on technology.
I already said to my wife that they should shut down the internet at least on Sundays. Just
I
shut it
love
down.
it.
Just shut it down. Just one day. So we can
I
really
agree.
look to our faces,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or at least watch TV. At least the TV,
Right.
So shut it
Bring
down.
some analog back. People need to get a little bored so that they could push themselves. They
Mm,
need to be able to develop their ears. They need to have some incentive,
yes.
like the way we used to do. I
Yes.
remember learning Al Di Meola with
Oh,
the needle over and over again
oh my
with a
God.
vinyl, listening to it. That's how I learned how to play guitar,
Beautiful.
and the hard way with vinyl,
Yeah.
scratching up my records.
Wow.
I remember those great Al Di Meola records, Land of the Midnight Sun, Elegant Gypsy, Casino, Splendido Hotel,
Wow.
with Chick Corea on all of them.
Ooh, wow.
Okay. Amazing. He was one of my favorites growing up. I was a
Yeah.
big jazz fusion fan as well.
Yeah.
Tony
The fusion
Williams
hero.
Lifetime, Alan Holdsworth, uh, Alan
Oh, Alan Good.
Pasqua
Oh,
was
yeah.
the keyboard player.
You were fair.
Yeah, and he had a great Rhodes sound. He
Yeah.
beautiful Mahavishnu orchestra.
Oh, man.
You know, so when I had first seen you, what I really loved is that you gave a fusion aspect to Salcedo Latin Soul. You gave them whole a whole new vibe as soon as you started playing. And I told Steve that in our interview. I said,
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
Axel
Thank you.
elevated your music because
Man.
with his outplaying, especially during one particular song that I loved, uh, you were playing, you turned up your instrument
Mm,
and you started playing outside of the key and then back in the key again, then out of the key. I loved it.
thank you.
I said, that's jazz fusion, Steve. Axel brought jazz fusion
I
to your
respect. Thank
Latin
you.
soul thing.
Love to Steve Salcedo on the band, man. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
man. You know what I really love also, being a jazz fusion fan? You work with some of my all-time musical heroes, especially two favorite drummers of mine, the
Mm.
incredible Steve Gadd and Lenny White. Oh my God. I almost fell off my chair when I read that. Steve
Best
Gadd,
session. Best sessions in my life.
best pocket,
Best
Steve
sessions.
Gadd.
Best sessions. That's how business should be conducted. That's how,
Yeah.
so much like taking the talent, they are gods, but the
Yes.
level of professionalism and the appreciation, and already, like you say, could you, if I called you, it's for a reason. So you are here with us. So
Yes.
beautiful.
Such an
Beautiful.
honor.
Such
That
an
that
honor, man.
that is an ultimate honor. Do you know Steve
Beautiful.
Gadd? Steve Gadd, Chick Corea played on all of those Al Di Meola records from 1976 to 1981.
So,
And I remember because Al was in Return to Forever with Chick Corea, Lenny White, the other guy you
oh,
played with on the session,
definitely.
another god, Lenny White.
Yeah.
My
Whoa.
God. How did you end up getting called on those sessions with those guys?
With Steve Gadd was because I was in that time. Well, that time I was already out of that band, but I was playing with the band. The manager of this band was kind of like related, not related, but no Steve Gadd. So they always went to this place to see this band when I was playing. I'm sorry that I don't mention it because it's no relevant. But Steve Gadd used to go see me, around. So when when he when he do this album for the wife of Paul Simon, the God of Others,
Hmm.
he create kind of like two songs that were very like a Buena Vista Social Club, slow, kind of like a song. And he knew, that I was, Axel's Cuban, probably we can call it to the studio. So
Fantastic.
and for Lenny White, I play a lot with John Benitez. I used to play with John Benitez in regular basis. And John Benitez is a number one call in New York City too. It's
Hmm.
Puerto Rico, but one of the greatest upright bass players. And he played an amazing electric. It's an amazing complete 360.
Wow.
360. So he recommended me for this album of this Letizia Gambi, a singer from Italy. By the way, Lenny White is her producer. And they called me for the session, and I did my thing. And from that time, Lenny always keep me around, call me for, So I'm gonna call you Lenny for my album.
What an honor. So how many years ago did you do the sessions with Steve Gadd and Lenny
This
White?
was, if I don't lie to you, probably in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 17,
Hmm.
16, 17, around that.
Around the time that your first album came out,
Exactly.
which was 2016
Yeah,
that I was
yeah.
reading.
Maybe it was before because I didn't have any album that. So Steve probably 2014 or 15. Yeah, and then I have my album. Things that I put something out. So now I have
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. I've got more to say about that because I want to talk about your new album a little
Oh,
later.
that's a
I'm
different.
excited about that. But I wanted to get back to the family thing again.
Yeah.
Coming up, growing up with a prestigious musical family, you had these great musicians in your living room, basically. How did growing up in Cuba and being exposed to the native music shape the musician you have become today?
Wow. Growing up was so profound. Being and living, first of all, living with my grandfathers, going to a um, spiritual like ceremony with my grandma. She, everybody dressing white and praying the Lord. And um, then in Cuba, the Yoruba religion, get very, very like in high demand because we're like embargo, so everyone's start thinking they're making or doing a ceremony, you're gonna get saved. So then my entire almost half of my family start to do those ceremonies. So I have the opportunity to attend and see how they play batas and so that was very super profound because after those parties the next day you go into a school to learn blah, po, priaro. So all that is getting in your mind. Feeling and you're feeling for that. Then watching the TV and like you say, Timba and at one point of my teenage years was the most popular music. And Timba got all these elements, funk, jazz, wind
Mm,
and fire, things, people trying to, emulate all the bands. So
that's great. Great point that you
yeah,
make
yeah,
there.
kind of like, and then like I tell you, mom and dad, whenever they pick me up from grandpa, they expose me to their world. And that when I say, whoa, that was crazy.
It just opened everything up
Opening
like a
so
universe, a whole
oh
new
bro.
universe.
And I always was playing around. And when I say playing around, nobody got kids, just my mom. So I'm the only one playing out myself with, I don't know, imaginary friends. Hello, Bob. Hello. Really like, but at the same time, people playing. So when you hear everybody singing something, you stop and start to, hey, I'm singing too. And oh, look at the kid, she's so fine. And you continue playing. So yeah, everything was getting to my pores. So
Right. Now I could feel a special connection with your mom, the great Zamora Laugart, and
Xiomarra,
I had a
Xiomarra.
Ziamara, right?
Mm.
And who I had the pleasure of meeting, and she was super nice to me. I
Thank
mean,
you.
like
Thank you.
when I was like welling up, she like dried my eyes.
Thank you, thank you.
So
Yeah,
sweet.
my mom is my
Wonderful.
biggest supporter.
Yeah.
I love her.
And then at the end of the set, you went back to your family and they treated you like the rock star that you are.
Oh man,
Everyone cheered you like that,
yeah, man.
which is wonderful.
This is
It's wonderful to have that in the family.
thank you, Lord. Thank you,
It
Lord.
must be a special feeling because not very few
Never
people
take it.
have that.
I never take it for granted. This is the best time for me because I always been nurtured by family. You know, my grandfathers, aunties, uncles, no matter, if when we went down to school, I already was totally like, full of that love. So the
Hmm.
fact that I know my wife's family, side of my wife's family, they offer me all this love,
Yeah.
ain't easy. This is
No,
the
never.
most prestigious family in the music business. So, but I've been in that position already.
Have
So,
you toured with your family? Have you gone on tour?
actually, I don't know if I can say it, but I think that we're gonna start touring. Me and my grandfather. Me and my father-in-law, probably next year. He's putting a project together. I,
Beautiful.
it's kind of like a top secret, but yeah. So,
Okay.
so,
Don't worry.
so
I
we've been
I,
playing together in
I
the
won't
same
say
track,
something.
so that's gonna be
Yeah.
dope. It's gonna be dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be totally dope. But it's got to be tough
Oh,
when you,
talking about boss. Louis Vega is calling me right now.
oh my God,
I'm
Louis
gonna
Vega.
say that
I
I'm
saw
in,
that name. I saw that name. Go ahead, take it.
maestro. I'm in an interview. Can I call you later?
Oh, that's special right there that he called you during the interview.
Yeah, we've been recording this track for Christmas with the great Tony C. So
Hmm.
we've been having a late night session. We've been driving from here to Delaware,
No.
working,
Oh, you
work
told me that you were in Delaware the last 2 days.
exactly because we driving from here to um, Kenny Lopez, Kenny Doe, Masters at Work, Louis Vega, and Kenny Doe. They used to have a band called
Hmm.
Masters at Work. They're excellent DJs from the Bronx, and I'm privileged to be producing with them. So
Beautiful.
Louis picked me up here, and we're going to drive 2 hours to Delaware. We work from 1 p.m. to 2 a.m., and then we drive back. And then we wake up next day 8:30 and we're going to the studio here to continue working. So I've been
Oh,
experiencing that with
wow.
him, and I said to him, I love this because I can I all my family and we understand the music business. So that's how you're supposed to work non-stop, working, working, working,
Yeah.
working, working. Then you get good vacations, but, but working, working,
There
working.
has to be some there has to be some challenges though when you have a tight-knit family. If you go on tour and uh you're so close, but again, maybe not because you've always had that tight-knit
Mm,
in throughout life with your
mm,
family,
yeah,
and you've been so close anyway with
mm,
music, and with and without music
mm,
you've been close, so maybe it's not as much of a challenge as it would be for someone else
yeah.
who has not been so exposed for so long
Yeah.
doing
So
that.
I don't um I don't want to compare myself, but it's like you say, the fact that I'm a musician and we are the music industry and we are a music family make easier, and
Yeah.
everyone's, like my family has been telling me the good thing that you are right here with a career, I
Hmm.
right here. My wife is a star. My wife is a star. My
Beautiful.
musician friends see me with my wife and they tell me in my face, we were in college, high school, and Lea Lorien, shout out for my wife. She already was a star. And this is the musician of today that
Wow.
they told me in my face, yo, you like, so for me, arrive and knowing each other that we don't take nothing from each other.
Yeah.
So we are giving us more, so it's a privilege. It's a privilege.
That's a
So
God-given gift because
thank you.
there are others who would have greater
I talk about
challenges.
you, baby.
The star, the true
Hey,
star.
the true star, 6 a.m. She started to sing at 6 a.m. She really, really like is my
Get
goal.
out.
She's my goal. Greece, Cabo Paradiso, Mykonos. We went to this DJ Dave Morales. She worked on right for him. And I saw myself taking pictures and everybody getting crazy with my wife at 6 a.m. singing her top songs. And really, really, people telling me, she's your wife? She's a star. Like crazy, crazy. That was one of my biggest.
How does it feel? How does it feel to be the husband of a star?
Humble.
No,
No, humble. And I know that everybody take your standards. So your standards have to be high. The other day she was telling me something about it too. You need to,
well, you're both stars,
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate it.
I'm curious, getting back to the music.
All right. Okay.
How does Cuban jazz differ from other popular forms of classic American jazz most people are familiar with today?
So just a little history for everyone, and I know the historians, know about this. New York City and Havana used to be very like New Orleans.
Right, in the 50s.
Yeah, New Orleans and Havana used to be like this. The
True.
Creole, Creole culture was in Cuba. So we always been, like Paris friends, New York City and Havana. Those were the stage. Those were the stage. Caruso played there. The first piano created in the world, from Europe to Havana, from Havana to New York.
No, get out.
Oh, check it out. I have some trivia for you. Check it out. So, we always been RCA, the great, company, music company, used to be in their catalog were a bunch of acts from Cuba. So we were totally connected. So part of the 1958, 59, like everybody, know the revolution, communists kind of like cut all those ties of music and interchange of information. So getting back to your question, the birth of Iraquere, Chucho Valdez, the creation of that band, in my recollection, kind of like a change in the course of, because before that, Perushin in the 40s, Perushin, he was doing a lot of good arrangement, and he was very influenced by Art Tatum, what was happening in that time in New York City.
I heard that Art Tatum is the only pianist who put the fear of God in Oscar Peterson.
Oh,
Oscar Peterson would never play when Art Tatum walked into the club. He couldn't play.
The piano player that I'm referring, his name is Pedro Nolasco Justiz Rodriguez. He used to be one of the most renowned songwriters in Cuba, in Havana, in those times. And he used to imitate Dr. Leonard Smith. He always with the coiba. He used to play like that all the time. And he was a G, super G. So he got an album, Descarga. You need to check this album with Tata Wines at the congas when Tata Wines was young, 15 years old, one of our conga players, the biggest king of the conga. And he introduced this rhythm called Cu-bop. There was a mix between the bebop and what was happening in Cuba. So we always been influenced by New York City jazz, made it ourselves, our own language. So then all these bands start to get influenced by fusion. Iraquere came out, Afro Cuban came out, Gonzalo Rubalcaba came out.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how many genres fuse together in Cuba.
Totally, yeah.
So many. It's so rich. The musical culture is so rich. And you were very, very blessed to be growing up in that culture. Was it difficult for you to make the transition to the United States when you came here in 2005?
Actually, I was part of this kind of like independent Tropicana show
In
in
Vegas, right? The
uh,
Havana Review or something, was
Havana
it?
Nights.
Havana
Havana
Nights
Nights. Yeah,
Review.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we had the opportunity to get all these visas and come to the States. So yeah, was kind of easy because no, at the beginning it was difficult because they denied me my visa because my mom was living here.
Mm-hmm.
I have to emigrate to Germany, so I live in Germany for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then I kind of like fly the frontier because they flew me from Germany to Amsterdam, from Amsterdam to Las Vegas. Then they just did all the paperwork there in an hour, in 2 hours. They
Yeah.
was
So it was
unfortunate.
like a hassle for six
Oh yeah,
months. Yeah.
yeah. No, no. Actually, in Germany, they were sending us to college, no, college, no, to English classes to learn English just for us to be so prepared. And I ask, please, can you provide me with a piano? So they put me a piano in my room. So I had a
Oh,
piano in my room, and I was totally no. I remember when I left Cuba, I took my bag and I don't put any single clothes. I left all the clothes to my family room, and I just put all my books, all my albums of all my tours that I've been buying, all that. I flew with a bag full of information, only information, because I know I'm gonna be reclusive in a mountain. So just study.
so that was a nice little thing going to Germany
Kind of like
in a way,
nice.
like it was
Uh,
unexpected, it was a surprise,
I,
and it gave you a breather to learn some English
I thought that was the
and they
first
gave you a
was good.
piano.
They give me a lot of piano. Like we were like a
It's great.
six from the band. So every night everybody went to my room and what do you want to sing? Sing something. And so I start to just entertain. We all have nothing to do
Yeah.
there.
Were you doing gigs in Germany during that 6 month period?
No, no, because we were like with expired visas so
Ah,
the Cuban government was looking for us as well because they knew that you
uh-oh.
are in Germany without visa. So we were very quiet. Just was
You
from the
had to be. You had to be.
apartment to the school. We leave the school to the apartment. Was kind of like it like that all the time.
Gotcha.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's
All
crazy.
right. So you know what? I want to bring up this Buena Vista Social Club question.
Bring it on.
Very, very interesting. I'm just intrigued because you were still in Cuba when
Yes.
that movie came out, the groundbreaking film Buena
Yeah.
Vista Social Club.
Yeah.
And that culturally opened so many doors to Cuban music in the West.
Uh-huh.
It was a big hit, I remember.
No.
And you were about a teenager, maybe 15, 16
Yeah.
years old at the time. Since you come from such a rich musical background, did you have any family, friends, or acquaintances who played a hand in that movie? Were
Actually,
any of your relatives or friends involved in the making of the movie?
so I do have two friends, involved. Amadito Valdez. Amadito Valdez used to be a timbal player for that band. And actually, one of the founders of the idea was Juan de Marcos. He's very acquainted of my mom. He used to have a sextet called Sierra Maestra back in the days, back in 1992,
Hmm.
where my mom, used to sing with them. They went to Japan for the first time. They brought kind of like a song out there. And Juan de Marco kind of like, yeah, he's close to the family because he know my father, he know my mom. And then I had the opportunity to start playing with Amadito Valdez. And Amadito Valdez was the timbal player for Buena Vista Social Club. It's thanks to him, he connected me with Teresa Garcia Caturla, aka Tete, the recently she passed, rest in peace. And with Tete, she was part two of the Buena Vista Social Club. I started to accompany um, Pio Leiva, that's one of the singers from Buena Vista Social Club. I have the opportunity to play with Omar Portuondo one time. I remember Omar Portuondo canceled because his manager, so he kind of like canceled, so she didn't do the gig. So I won't mention you, Queen. but I play with the father of Gonzalo Rubalcaba, Guillermo Rubalcaba. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He played viola, but he played very good piano as well. Rolo Martinez, that is part of the staff too. So yeah, I have the opportunity to really thanks to that movie, me being young, start correctly playing with the OGs from Cuba. They teach me, and they pay the ones that pay the way for us.
Well, that opened up a lot of opportunities for
Yes,
you.
definitely, definitely.
And did it help the Cuban economy, that movie?
When
Did
you
it?
mention it like that, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know, no, I know your question already,
Yeah.
but the fact that I am producer is Ray Cooder. Ray Cooder is a Cuban
The
guy.
amazing
No?
slide guitar player, Ry Cooder.
Exactly. So actually, all the members of that band, they were broke. At least they feed their families.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
remember, yeah. So
It, well,
not
that,
to the entire Cuban, economy, but at least they brought economy to the family.
yeah.
Because Ibrahim Ferrer, he was like a cleaning shoes when they rediscovered him. How
beautiful, beautiful. And so that actually changed his life.
changed the life to all them, for
Yeah.
like and revive their career. So that was beautiful.
Beautiful.
That was
I
beautiful to
love
see.
that. I love to hear stories like that, man.
Yeah, that was beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Thanks to that project and that movement and the importance they give to that generation, I got hope for me, and I know no matter if now success don't come, I need to stick and be truthful to my art, that I will be paying dude at one point. I never think about the paying dude, just do it.
Beautiful. Can you explain to my listeners what Cuban Trova music is?
Like we can compare Trova like with the Trovadors. Trovadors is the guys that get the guitar and sing songs. But I just to give the right denomination or the right name is folk. It's folk music. It's Cuban folk. It's our Cuban folk, movement. That's what my mama and my dad started there as a young teenager. So
Is it protest music? Folk protest music?
you can talk about any topic you want. You can be love, you can be protest, you can be reflective, you can be, funny, everything. It's folk, so it's open.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah, because I was reading, they said they were implying that it is more protest folk music. But again, that could be inaccurate, just like you say, because they could be paralleling it to American
No,
folk
no,
music.
but totally, what folk brings like rock and roll, brought to America is rebellious and freedom of speech.
Yes.
Like yeah, you can put it because we are coming from a dictatorial or communist country. You can put it like, oh yeah, it's a protest music. No, kind of like the movement that was young intellectuals that was one of the tools too. But mostly my mom and my dad, they were singing trova all around Cuba because that was kind of like a program that the government released. Oh, young musicians gonna go entertain you. So they did the entire Cuba entertaining people normally, and never was like a protest. Was beautiful songs. Was beautiful songs.
Could you make a good living doing that? Just going around the country and just
Well, at that time they were young, but then when Cuba started to make diplomatic move, you need to bring an act. So that's when they start to travel, and
Okay.
from a little act, became in a festival, and from a little festival became in a career.
And the
So
rest is
yeah,
history.
if you're good, yeah, if you're good, you can get it.
And then that's how your mom became the OG, the voice
Exactly.
of Cuba,
You know,
starting at a young age and going
God bless her.
all around
God bless her.
Cuba.
Yeah,
God
yeah.
bless her is
Very
right.
good.
What's your approach to composing music?
Um, First of all, my father is a composer, so for me, it's a high appreciation of composers, and I met so many composers, and my father teach me the importance of write your own music, play your own stuff, because that's
Great.
bread and money, and that's your legacy, and that's gonna be your, what you're gonna live to your songs. So I meticulous, very meticulous about compositions. I really want my songs, everyone to be good, But I learned that not every single song is gonna be good. But I do believe in writing, I believe in writing a lot, and
Yeah.
whatever I have in my head, just put it.
I love your songs.
My father-in-law
Beautiful songs.
just teach me that when I start my marriage with my wife, because I'm totally like, oh, I don't like this, scratch. They say, no, 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 record it. Tomorrow you got it. So after I apply that concept, I have more than 300 songs.
300 songs in your
Yeah,
catalog?
between me and my wife.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And it's the pandemic put us in this frenzy of writing, and that's kind of like my father on me. I remember my father telling me, write music, and now my wife is a songwriter, so we do music like that.
That's one of the best advice that anyone could give a musician. Write music, write your own music, learn to write it. And
my father did his career with 3 songs that he wrote at 19 years old. 3 songs that my mom sang until today are the 3 signature songs that everybody know my mom for.
Padia is one of them, isn't it?
Hello, Paria.
Padia.
Y Sembrando para ti. Those 3. Those 3 songs out there, my mom can do a tour just singing those 3 songs.
You know, it was beautiful. I saw a YouTube video of you performing Padia with your mom. You had the blonde afro,
yeah.
And there was a gentleman who talked about exuberance.
Oh yeah.
And then you performed with your mom Padia, and then he was asking where did that song come from, and your mom explained, well, his father wrote the song, and it's one of the first songs we ever played together.
Exactly.
And it was beautiful, beautiful song.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, wow.
I loved it. I loved it. And your playing was beautiful on that also. And I noticed that you had the chart on the piano, and then halfway through the song, you pushed the chart to the side, like you didn't need it.
Yeah.
Which spurred me on to that earlier question about how much do you use the chart? Well, I said, well, he used the chart for the first 30 seconds, and then he just pushed it to the side.
Yeah, it's kind of bad. It's psychological sometimes. I know that I don't need it, but just to see it, it's kind of it's comfort.
I'm going to take a little detour here, and I want to go into a different topic. Who do you think are the most impressive cats on the New York City jazz scene out right now that I should be checking out? Doesn't matter. Could be piano, tenor, alto, sax, guitar, upright. Are there certain jazz musicians that really impress you that are playing in the New York scene right now?
Definitely. I always go to small. Whenever I finish my gig, I always go to small.
Interesting.
I haven't been going too much to the Jazz Gallery or the Village Vanguard, but one of the, like always is good. It's good like wine, and it's one of my scary like piano players that I like to go to see. Eric Lewis.
Who?
Eric Lewis.
Eric Lewis.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Excellent piano player. He used to play for Art Berkeley. The last time, but he's a force. He's a piano player. He's a force. Like when I say to you a force, like hold your seat because he's gonna go.
My God, just like what you said on November 30th. Hold your seat. We're gonna take a ride.
Exactly. I have I got good heroes. I love to go and check out heroes because I'm right there. So it's amazing. All the musicians that I recommend you, there is a young cast, and I have the opportunity to record with him. in the album of Godwin Louis. Joel Rose, vibraphone player.
Joel Rose.
Vibraphone
Gotcha.
player with dreads. He signed out with Blue Note. Quality talk. He's from Chicago. Quality music. Amazing composer too. And in the scene, somebody else is scared, actually. The third one. Man, I don't know. It was one time ago. I don't go out.
What about tenor and alto sax players?
Emmanuel Wilkin.
Okay.
Emmanuel is from Philadelphia, bro. His brother is. And again, I have the opportunity to play his music. You see people that have been, at least playing the music, and I'm kind of like, oh my God, excellent talent. Like, blew my mind.
Have they actually sat in with the Axel Tosca Trio?
Good idea. I haven't been thinking. No, I haven't been thinking that because I'm saving all those special guests for a special occasion. I consider myself the Cuban Jam and the Axel Tosca Trio. We're still in a constant develop to really, really reach our language, So before I bring people to the party, I want to organize the house, clean the house.
That's,
paint,
I love that. Before you bring people to the party, you have to organize the house. No words of wisdom, my friend.
You need to put everything clean, so then we're gonna make a party,
And then we're gonna make a big festival.
Yeah, because I want them for the long run. So in order to have them for the long run, you have to give quality. So I want them to want it,
Right. That's great. It's funny. I was surfing through YouTube today, and I caught a great version that you guys did of Giant Steps. Oh my God, with Gerry Lopez.
Gerry Lopez, yes. Yeah.
It blew my mind, man.
Thank you.
It blew my mind. It was so good. Oh my God. Especially the rhythm at the end. You guys were so tight, and the rhythms were changing.
I'm so excited about all these new technologies, and able to record myself and receiving, all these.
Man.
Because he sent me the track, so I have the opportunity to really, that was a beautiful experience. And then do the video, so that was.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
In the video,
he did, because he plays alto, and he played a really great solo, and then you came in with a fabulous solo.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And then the bass player came in with a drop dead solo. The guy from Brazil.
It was such a multicultural project.
It was amazing. Let me tell you something, and it's funny. I want to bring down this cat named Rico Jones. I want to bring him down on a Thursday night to the Cuban Jam.
Oh, please
okay.
Do.
He's a tenor guy, and he's a great guy. And you might be able to use him on call or something.
Oh man, thank you.
He used to play. In fact, over the summer, I went to see him with Sylvia Cuenca. He played in her quartet. I went to Dizzy's, and I went to see them. It was nice.
Oh, perfect. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please do.
I'm going to bring him down, and I let him hear that version of Giant Steps. And I said, listen to these guys. I'm interviewing Axel today. And he went like this. He went, holy shit. Oh my God. It's like his jaw dropped, and he said, I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to bring you down on a Thursday night because I want to introduce you to Axel because you guys have a lot in common. And I think that, who knows, maybe you'll hit it off. Maybe. Okay. Cause I know he played at Smalls last week.
Oh, nice.
Well, yeah. He's from Denver actually. And he actually, he's won 6 Downbeat Awards. He's I really like the guy. I did a gig with him late October, and but he's a really great guy. And
please bring it.
He's a very good player. As I mentioned, he was playing with Sylvia Cuenca over the summer, and you have Essiet on bass. Do you know this guy named Dave Kikoski?
Of course. Oh my God, yeah.
Dave Kikoski was
He's
on
the
the
OG.
gig.
That's one of the OGs.
Yeah.
I know him for album first of all, and for Jefferson Watts. He used to play with Jefferson Watts a lot. Well, he played with Jefferson Watts a lot.
Right. Do you consider him a fine
No,
keyboard
he's
player?
top of the top. No, he's
Top of the top.
a top of the top.
Yeah.
The bebop scene, he's an OG, like I say.
Wow. He was on that gig. It was
No,
Dave Kikoski, Essiet, Sylvia Cuenca on drums, Rico on sax, Rico Jones on tenor, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. I actually interviewed Rico as well. He's a good friend of mine.
no.
But yeah, and Sylvia is also like a top call on drums.
Nice.
You know, she gets calls. But I love Dave Kikoski. He
Yeah,
was, yeah,
David, man. Adding to it, Dave, when I started my Cuban Jam, he always was playing at Zinc Bar, so he got an opportunity to really stay and hear all the concepts. So he loved me. He loved what are we doing. He's really it's
yeah.
respect. He's big respect. So the support
Oh
is there.
yeah.
We're working. We're
Yeah,
working.
when Rico heard when I sent Rico that YouTube video with Gerry Lopez
Mhm.
with you guys doing that version of Giant Steps.
Oh no,
I
you
can't
don't, you don't,
he was so impressed.
you don't, bro.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
How important is rehearsing before a show? Do you think it's more important to get the best players who are adaptable rather than doing rehearsals, or do you insist on the band getting a minimum number of rehearsals before a gig?
You know, I don't rehearse with my band.
I didn't either.
Fortunate. I'm very fortunate that I don't rehearse with my band, and they know the music, they know what we're doing,
Hmm.
but I don't condone that. You know, I want to have a rehearsal space so we can go and rehearse. I want people to have time for rehearsal, but not everyone got time.
Yeah,
People are doing
yeah.
things, you know.
I,
So, um, for me, it's about to have the music ready with your MP3s, send it. But yes, it's very important to rehearse. If you don't rehearse, uh,
just like I'll tell you what Steve Salcedo said to me, because I had asked him the same question.
mm,
He said, I love rehearsals, but it's a luxury. I'm lucky that I can get one rehearsal in before the gig.
I, re-
And
I,
that was me
and that's
too.
true. I'm part
That
of
is
man, and
true.
that's true. That's super true. And I understand, Salcedo. I'm a trio. I can fly things. We're a band, so it's more complicated. Band with parts and
Yeah.
say like small, even if the shot is perfect, you need to rehearse. But I understand sometimes it's getting super difficult. But the fact that he got a team of top musicians, and
Yes.
forget about me. Honestly, forget about me. Everyone out there is top, so they are right.
I told him the same thing. I said, I'm so impressed because I counted 10 musicians on that stage.
Mm.
And I told Steve, I said, every single musician is a fantastic seasoned player.
Oh my God.
Every one,
Maybe can I have somebody, please?
you know?
Mm.
And I know that you're a call in that band, but he was like going in because I could really relate to this because I was a band leader of a 7 to 9 piece band for 22 years.
Excuse me.
And I had different players who were available and who weren't available that I would switch in and out. And it's a big challenge because, sometimes I wouldn't have the luxury to rehearse. But when you
Yes,
have 7 to 9 people, it's a challenge. And I said
definitely.
to Steve, I said, you're a great musician, but what impressed me more than your musicianship was the way that you cue the band in
He's
and out of
a
changes.
great musical director, and he's a great band leader.
Yes, he is.
Without, I'm a band
Thank
leader.
you.
It's
Thank you.
natural. It's a natural. But I
That was the
recognize that.
biggest compliment that I gave
I
him.
recognize that of every single job that I do, or when I'm in a band. For example, a singer call you, and all of a sudden the singer never been given status to no one. We a band, but all of a sudden, someone need to step up. I'm in group of musicians that someone step up, but they step out with a good kind of like a strong presence that at the end of the rehearsal or at the end of whatever the job we're doing, I'm going to this person and say, bro, you are a great leader. I love the way that you, and this is good too because we encourage ourselves to, So
Absolutely.
Steve, we allow him to be himself. We never get the call. And when I say we allow him to do what he's supposed to do. That is guide us.
Yes. And he does it very well. He does it so well.
Yeah.
I said to him, you have 10 guys up there on the bandstand. That's a big challenge. But not only are you calling changes on 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean, you have complex rhythms and you're calling changes on like 2/16 notes, and everyone is coming together like that. And it's very impressive that he can get all 10 guys on the same page.
Yes.
Without any rehearsals or with one rehearsal. I said, because I had asked him, I said, how much do you think that is attributable to getting guys who are just very, very good listeners, who are very, very highly perceptive?
Awesome.
And how much is it attributable to you actually getting a rehearsal in where you can get everyone on the same page? And he said to me, it's both, actually. It's a combination of both. You need to have people who are perceptive and who have good intuition.
Yeah.
And that actually makes the job easier to start.
Definitely.
And then if you get a rehearsal in, then it's just even easier. But a rehearsal is still a luxury. But I would love to have more rehearsals if I had the time.
Definitely. And I say that because like that, we can play in our sleeps. We sleep and we play the music.
And he was mentioning also that when he works with Miley Cyrus, they break the songs down to like small pieces. And then they could really focus on the nuances of the songs, and even develop it further when you have that luxury. But I remember it could be frustrating at times when you have a big band, and especially when you have subs on the gig, who you don't work with as often. That could be more challenging. That's why I had asked Steve, I said, do these guys are guys that you always work with? And he said, for the most part, I work with them a lot. So that really helps. So yeah, I thought I was very impressed, obviously, that night when it was a great band. The whole band's great, and with you, it's like the cherry on top of the cake.
Thank you.
So what were the most exciting gigs that you've ever played? Can you think of some really, really exciting gigs?
Yeah. Oh, my first time playing with the Roots, Love and Black Felt, that was very impressive for me. My first time playing with George Clinton in 1998. No, 2008. That was impressive for me as well. Who else? My time with Richard Bona, I learned a lot with Richard. That was beautiful. And what else? Yeah, no more highlights. Yeah, simple.
Who were the musicians and artists that were your biggest influences growing up?
I'm definitely gonna say Michael Jackson, straightforward.
I wasn't expecting that.
Straightforward, Michael Jackson all day.
All day long.
Because I appreciate dancing. I went to a school that we were together. It was dancing, music together. So I really learned how to dance. I love dancing, and I know that music and body together is a beautiful combination.
So, that's why you're such a good rhythm player as well.
Oh, thank you. And part of the fashion too, I like fashion as well. So For me, I get influenced by, clothing. People dress good. Jimi Hendrix used to dress impeccable, bring his own style. So that's something that
Amazing.
my father used to dress so weird in Cuba that I always pay attention to that. Biggest inspiration that I want to emulate or follow through, I cannot say because right now I'm cut out in my own life, my own bubble. So I
Hmm.
think that I require all the energies of being my fan. I need to be fan of myself because I know myself. If I don't love, I, I don't work. So I really am focusing in me right now with a lot of humility, about trying to really nurturing
It's
what people
also
do.
a different time.
Exactly a different time. So um I'm listening to everyone because it's a bigger picture right now. It's not just beautiful composition. Yeah, I have the beautiful composition, but now I want to put an art visual for that composition. I need to make it bigger picture. So right now, thanks to everything that is happening, and unfortunately, that is the share is going a little bad quality art. It's about that now. It's about
Yeah.
to put a good piece of art form out there.
Oh,
So
I
I
can't wait. I can't wait to see the audio visual show
Yeah,
when you have
and,
it
and, and
out.
for that reason, I don't mention to you, a specific musician of Miles Davis or Herbie Hancock because that's already that's it's not an
That's a
answer. That's
given.
no, yeah, that's not a real answer. They are there for us. So right now it's about the self-love, the emancipation of the mind, really, really
Yeah.
doing this, do it big.
Yeah. I covered another artist. She's Taiwanese,
Mhm.
and she has incorporated audio visual beautifully into her shows.
Oh,
She opened up for the Wallflowers in July at
oh, nice.
Brooklyn Prospect Park,
Oh,
and
perfect.
she uses these big screens behind her,
Oh,
and it's interesting. I'll send you
okay. Yeah.
the interview. I wanted to speak to you about something else. Tell me about how you got involved in 2015 with Cu-bop, Cuba, New York music documentary, directed by Takahashi
Shinichi.
Shinichi. It's won several
so
awards. Was that an
so
interesting experience?
oh my God. So from Cuba, working with the great prestigious timbal player from Buena Vista Social Club, Amadito Valdez,
Mhm.
he introduced me to this Japanese lady. I don't remember her name now, so sorry. Um, and she was a translator for the Japanese embassy in Cuba. And they were introducing this new singer, Masayo, that she went to Havana to do her album, and they recommend me. So I started to work with them, and she loved the song, Yaren 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 Soran Soran. We played in the Japanese festival in, oh my God, Sapporo, Hokkaido. Yeah, they have a huge festival out there, like people dress, and our song was the theme of the festival. So they flew me to Japan, and I was a crazy experience. I was dressed in a guayabera, close to next to all these old Japanese like a traditional geisha. That was super crazy experience, and I was awful in English, no English, nothing. I was
Yeah,
crazy.
you being the fashionista, you fit right in.
Exactly. So that experience took me to when I emigrate here. One of the managers or friend of this lady recommend me. No, sorry, go back. I finished that. Then another Japanese lady arrived, and the Japanese embassy already got my contact and sent Ayako Futada. She's a producer. She went, oh, Axel, I'm doing this series of album. She showed me the first album. It was kind of like a jam in Havana. It's a random album that you just can. I think that you can find in Amazon. So, like, sorry, because never when we released. So in America. I said, she said, "Oh, I got this group of tunes, traditional tunes, that I want you to do versions." That was the first time that I experienced like, oh, let me do arrangements. So I started to arrange songs, and I discovered another side
Nice.
of me, like, oh my God, I really love to do arrangement. Actually, Siboney in my album, that arrangement is for that era. I was like 16 years old. That was my first, one of my first arrangement. Like I said, oh, I'm good. So I record this album. Um, Long story short, I emigrated to New York City. She contacted me via Facebook, and she said, "This friend of mine, she's a videographer. He want to do a movie about you." I said, "Oh, for real?"
Wow.
Oh, okay. So he went. He came here. I was living in Washington High. I was renting a room of the side of Zinc Bar bathroom. I swear to God, that was the side. Just one bed, one window, and my closet. So he arrived there, and he said, "Axel, I'm gonna live with you, bro. I'm renting here. You cannot live with me. So can I sleep in the?" And he started to sleep on the hallway, of the house. In the I asked him
Oh my
I
God.
asked him to the owner of the apartment. Mira, he's film me a video. He's gonna be good. He's Japanese. You know how the Japanese are. They
Hmm.
sleep in the little thing, and they pick out the thing, and they totally. So he started to follow me for all New York City, and then he said, I want to take you to Cuba with your band," and he took me to Cuba.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
Amazing.
Everything happened so fast that I I I still was like, oh my God, I don't believe it. It was so fast for real. How fast?
What an incredible experience that
And
was.
then he invited me. He put a beautiful tour to Japan. That was several years ago, 2017 maybe, or 18, I don't know.
Okay.
And he take me to Kyoto, because the film festival was happening out there, and the Cuban ambassador went to say hello to me. They treated me very nice. They put my movie. Then I have a sold out show at the Kyoto Metro with my trio, and I closed the tour at the Blue Note, and that's when I met my wife. I took my wife at the phone.
Get out.
Oh man, I spent the entire tour calling her from Japan, and she was sleeping here. So when I arrived to Blue Note, I asked him to a girl, because it's a policy, Blue Note, as an artist, you cannot bring your cell phone to the stage. You cannot. And I was telling to the manager, "Please, she's there. I want her. I need her." I say, "I need her. It's emotional support right now." He said, "Okay, cool." So I went to the stage. I showed my wife at the phone to everyone. Everybody said to Leah, "Hey," and I dedicated the entire show to my wife. She held me down. She held me down the entire show. And when I came back to the stage, he said, "Let's get married." Boom.
I mean, it's amazing that you convinced the guy to let you bring the
And
cell
telling
phone
you,
on the
no,
stage.
because I was about to slap someone. So I really need her. I really need her. I said, because that couldn't be the end of everything. So she held me down. Very nice.
You were
Oh yeah.
like,
Shinichi open, and then he had the opportunity to um through the African Diaspora Festival. He released and I played with the band. It's been nice with him. Amazing. Say hello to him.
it was destiny.
Yeah, definitely.
What a great experience. And this was 2017, 2018.
Yeah, 17, 18.
Yeah. And then that's before the Tokyo Blue Note, because the Blue Note was
No,
in
no, I did a Blue Note.
2019.
Yeah, I did a Blue Note with Leah. When I went to Blue Note with Louis Vega was in 2018, 2018.
2018.
That was my first time. The 2019 was with Louis. I was already
Right. The
yeah.
2019 is the sold out show at the Tokyo
Exactly.
Blue Note.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I was reading. Tell us more about your new album coming out, the new sensation,
Well,
Axel Tosca.
well, I'm taking really my time, guys. I'm so sorry, because, like I'm saying at the beginning of the interview, I was searching for myself. I think that I found myself right now. Um, I have plans to start recording the end of this month. My son is gonna be here on vacation, so I don't know how that's gonna work because I'm gonna be with my son all the time.
How
But
old's
of
your
course,
son?
13 years old, the Axel Tosca. Shout out to the Axel. Woo!
Woo!
So probably for next year, I will start rehearsing the music because, like we were talking, I want this music by memory. I don't want nobody with charts. At least the rhythm section,
Good.
the core, you know. So I
Hmm.
would say my time, even if it's sporadically, I just put in 3 songs, and those 3 songs we're gonna rehearse for 1 month.
Is
Uh,
that going to be the Axel Tosca Trio,
it's
or
gonna
is
be
it
it's gonna be Axel Tosca with a, and
with?
then when we're on the street, Axel Tosca Trio. But I don't want to put any name to nothing because
Got it. Because it's all in progress right now. Anything can
exactly.
happen.
And I think that kind of like Axel Tosca is a nice brand to start, you know. So
Yeah,
whatever happen. The music and the art and the concept have to be impeccable. So I have a great team on my corner, so it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing.
beautiful. That brings me to my next question. Where would you like to take Axel Tosca's musical journey and explorations in the foreseeable future?
That's beautiful question. So I'm baby steps now, but yeah, I want to. It's free dream. I want to dream. I want to really, really commit my goals. So I just want my to have that platform. The people that really love my music or love what I'm doing, they always been content and satiated about what I'm doing. You know, I will challenge myself all the time. I think that that's very important for the progress of the music, what we're
Great.
doing. But I want to really be true to myself and give truthness to whoever listen to my music. So that's my goal. Whatever is gonna be in the future, we want to develop because I believe in develop, and work together. So yeah,
So,
it's beautiful.
so you see yourself going in a different direction musically?
Um, and this is what I have a conflict of interest because I'm doing so many style of music and I never close the door. So
Yeah,
I don't see myself in. I see myself doing, because
yeah.
I'm in
You're an
constant
open
improvement.
book. You're
Exactly,
just
I'm in
doing it
constant.
and
So
let it
I
go the
don't know
way it
what is going to
goes.
happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, the music
Yeah,
can change, and I'm doing something else. So uh,
beautiful.
no boundaries. Everything's open.
Yeah, you're such a
The sky's the
creative
limit.
artist,
Oh, thank you.
that you keep it open, you keep it an open book, and that maximizes the possibilities of where your art
Exactly.
can go.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
love it.
Beautiful.
So, do you have any special concerts coming up in the new year?
I'm playing at Arthur's Tavern on New Year's Eve,
I
December.
saw that.
Yeah, at
Yeah,
7 p.m. And I intend to organize a show in the week of the 16, 17 of January. I'm performing with Element of Life, uh, the Blue Note. So that's going to be big for the house music movement.
wow,
So I
gorgeous.
hope everyone to go and push that ticket. But the next day, on Thursday, in my residency, I will be launching this new project that me and my wife we're gonna put together. It's gonna be like a little mini the Cuban Jam Festival. I intend to put a beautiful roster from 7 p.m. until midnight, and we will close with a huge mega Latin jam. So that week is the week of the Winter Jazz Fest and the APAC Music Conference. So I hope that a bunch of people from the industry, can come.
Great.
Also that's kind of like the two biggest three, four biggest concerts that are gonna have like a one New Year's Eve and the beginning of the year. Gonna be intense, and I will be celebrating my birthday, my 41st birthday at the Public Records in Brooklyn. I'm opening for the Voodoo funk band. It's a young kid, black punkers that I love them. They're young, they bring in the love. And
What's the name of the band
let
again?
me let me get you right because I never. I know that his name is the Voodoo Kid.
The Voodoo Kid. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's his name. The Voodoo.
The Voodoo Kid.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, guys. Ghetto Funk Worldwide. Ghetto Funk Worldwide.
Get a funk worthwhile.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna send it to you right now so you can check the key.
Thank you. Are you doing any other big festivals during the
Oh,
year?
during the year, I'm doing on February 4th, I'm doing the Ground Up in Miami, festival that I organized by Michael Lee, musical director of Snarky Puppy. So I'm playing with Etienne Charles and the Creole Soul. It's a band that I've been
Great.
playing for yeah, several years now. And we're playing that festival on February 4th in Miami. Miami area, we're going there. And
Beautiful.
the rest, I don't know. My goal is trying to stop kind of touring so I can finish my album. So if people don't call me, it's gonna be nice so I can deliver this music to you.
Beautiful. You'd rather have the focus to
I
finish
need
the
it
album.
because I'm cut out into being a musician and being an artist and being an artist and being a musician and then being a
Yeah.
sideman and then I love it and enjoy it. But at one point right now, I think that I'm in that kind of like age that I need to focus on
You
myself.
you need the creative space to
Exactly.
finish the album.
Since God, we got a
I
studio
get
now,
it.
we got the personal, we got the place, so everything is being kind of like a putting like a clear blueprint to me. You have the place, you have a studio, you have so
Yeah.
it's time, it's time.
Yeah. Beautiful. What's the best advice that you would give a young, talented musician who wants to break into the scene today?
Oh, don't get caught up into transcriptions and sound like. That's what I hear everybody sound like. So you cannot be sound like. You need to sound yourself, So don't be cut out of that. Learn from the best, but find yourself and whatever you need to do because I know I'm coming from another system. My growth is totally different, like other people from other countries. But I can see here how this country do you young generation. So if you got your passport, get your passport and go to places to learn, to get culture and know about it.
You
But when
hear
you
that?
know, you
Right.
know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
Not like believing, oh, Cuba like that, Cuba like that. Things that you don't know, please, if you have the opportunity and the possibility to get your passport and get a few dollars, go and learn. Go, they're gonna let you go. They're gonna
Be an
let
artist, to be your own artist,
Exactly.
right?
So I never been, that freedom in Cuba to, oh, let me go to this place to learn. But I was close enough of people that every now and then say, oh, let me go to the countryside of Cuba because I need to learn with this old man that he's the only one that plays this conga in this way. And I say, wow, that's crazy,
That's
So
that's die hard.
exactly. And so yeah, try to learn as much as possible. If you are in this business, learn the entire business. It's like 32 careers in this business. If you are bad in music,
Oh, is that
go
all? Only 32?
yeah. It's only inside the music, inside beside everything they make. And you can make a career and everything. And it's still your passion and you can support your passion, So
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like how much you have to learn to be a success in this business. There's so many facets.
I'm just absorbing right now. I'm in a great position and I'm absorbing and I love my family. I love what they do. I love the respect, the legacy, the commodity.
You're a
It's a
sponge.
gun.
You're
It's a gun out
absorbing like
here.
a sponge.
Yeah. Like right now, I feel like I'm with the Gambino mafia gang. Something like that. This family is strong. I'm sorry that I made that comparison. It's ugly, but I just saying like I feel the fact that when you go into a place and you want to leave, you know, whenever I'm hanging out with this family, I don't want to leave. I fall asleep in the couch. Like it's like that. I said the world can be having things, and I really that's how every single of my friend whenever they see me say, oh, you look so good, you look so good, because I've been nurturing family, man, and that's gold. That's
You
gold.
are you are one of the luckiest people in the world to have a family like
Thank you.
this.
Thank you.
And you've taken it to near maximum. You've really developed your styles of music and piggybacked off of your family
Thank you.
and
Yes.
off of your education, your family,
Wow.
your lineage, your experience in all different forms of music. It's all one. It all is coming together, and it never stops. That's the beauty of it. It just keeps
Never stop.
growing.
Thank you. Never stop, guys.
Never stops.
No, I intend never stop because it's my father-in-law always testing me. So I don't have time to, whenever they see you, like, oh, wait a minute, test. So yeah, I'm other than this. But I like it because it's good. It's like you say, if you have that potential, let's maximize your potential.
Yeah.
So
And you're a role model for younger musicians because you
wow,
have
absolutely.
maximized your
Thank you.
potential. So does Axel Tosca have musical recordings out there that people can purchase right now?
Yeah, you can go to my website, www.axeltosca.com, and I have my album there. As other collaboration with Louis Vega, just go there on iTunes. But I recommend you guys strongly go to my website. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
As a team, effort. So
Yeah. And do you have an approximate time frame when the new album is going to be out?
actually, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
when.
that's best. Right. Just when it's out,
So
it's out. Just
exactly. It goes
as
because
long as it.
I really like. I've been seeing all these festivals and people like you don't have music out, so I really get wrong. If I run, I think they're gonna have an accident. So I'm totally like 25
Yeah,
kilometers per hour. But it's gonna
love it.
happen, and I want to give the best. That for that reason, it's taking.
Well, that is obvious that you always want to give the best because you are one of the
Oh
best.
man, thank you, Regis. Thank you, appreciate you, man. Life for you, bro.
And just like what Steve said, it is badass not to rush. This is what Steve
Yeah,
Salcedo said.
yeah. Exactly. No, que
I
bien.
love that.
My Steve is such a like wow. He got a lot of knowledge too. Seems
Yeah,
very.
he's a smart guy.
I don't always
Yeah.
work with him, as a work, but I know he's a smart guy, super smart guy. I will take a coffee with him one day.
You're both super smart guys. And
No, thank you, thank
yeah,
you.
that's why, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to the new music.
Oh man, thank you.
So looking forward to it.
I won't disappoint you,
And
brother.
I know you won't. I can't wait. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Everything, the show, once again, the Cuban Jam is amazing. And I asked Alex, I said, is it always amazing like this? He said, yeah, always.
Yeah,
That's why they're here. They're here because it's always consistent.
Big shout out to Alex and the Zinc Bar staff. Thank you for allowing us to,
Yeah.
like bring.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. Man, it was such a pleasure to watch you guys.
Oh, thank you.
So great.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
And
you. Cannot wait.
Alex, that's
Alex?
funny, play on words. Alex, the
Alex,
owner,
Axel, yeah,
the
yeah.
owner of Zinc Bar said
Yeah.
that you've been doing that gig for 10 years on Thursday.
Definitely.
Amazing.
On Thursday, I started with my mom first, and then they decided to, oh, Axel, you can start your own night. So after the pandemic, the pandemic kind of like gave me a time to reflect and really put together what will be my next kind of project because I already was leaving a band. So when I start, I'm blessed to really connect with other friends for this community. I went to college, so that helped me a lot. That drummer, he committed to me and he said, Axel, I want to learn this music. I want to learn this culture.
David Fraser Jr.
David Fraser Jr.
Great drummer.
Great drummer, yeah, great drummer. And from him, I started to meet more drummers, people that are really they are passionate about Cuban music and they want to learn with a Cuban, honestly,
So,
somebody that,
so the Axel Tosca Trio has not been together a very long time. You would
I can call it like 6 years that we've been doing this. 6 years because before the pandemic, we start the Cuban Jam, and that's randomly. I start myself calling different members, but I think that 1 year before the pandemic, I put a trio together. One of the members left, but I really stick with David. I took it to Cuba, and that's when he kind of like everything makes sense for him. Was kind of like, oh, now the full circle. I can understand where you're from, or the friends. Everything was beautiful. We have a beautiful concert.
So 2019.
Mm.
That's also the year that you did Tokyo Blue Note. I was reading.
Exactly.
That must have been an exciting gig.
Actually, that was with Louis Vega.
I was not there. No, I wish I was there.
No. My question if it was with Element of Life or was a concert that I did before with 2019.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I was in Tokyo in 2019 toward the end of the year. I don't know when during the year did you play there?
That was the Element of Life concert because that was before the pandemic hit.
Not too long before, like
not too long
few
before.
months before.
Exactly, because we did London and then we finished in at Bruno. That was amazing. That was an amazing concert.
Yeah, that had to be. I was there around December 15th of 2019.
Oh, nice. Wow.
I was in Shibuya. I was like walking around there.
Love Shibuya.
I love it. It's
Beautiful.
great.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. I love that country.
That's one of my dreams. I want to live there.
Yeah, you will. You will, because you're an international commodity.
Thank you.
Axel, it's amazing. Your show is amazing. Everyone, to all my fans out there, go to the Cuban Jam every Thursday at Zinc Bar, West 3rd Street in Greenwich Village, New York City. You will see one of the most amazing trios, the Axel Tosca Trio.
Thank you.
With the OG legendary voice of Cuba, Axel's mom.
My mama!
Mama, that's right. Xiomarra Laugart. The OG. You're going to see some of the most amazing music, and you're going to feel some of the most amazing music you have ever felt. So go see Axel Tosca on a Thursday. He is always there. It's like the sun coming up every day.
Thank you.
As sure as the sun comes up, Axel Tosca will be at Zinc Bar on Thursdays.
Appreciate you.
All right.
I want to say thank you very much, Cujo, for this beautiful interview. Thank you very much.
It is my pleasure.
Amazing, brother.
And I'm just excited to see and hear the new musical explorations that Axel Tosca and any incarnation of his band will be doing in 2024. It's a pleasure and it's an honor.
Be safe, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay. God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro. Beautiful.
We'll see you at the next gig.
I see you. All right.
Bye.